Hello everybody, it's HRMA13. I appreciate you guys tuning in for the video and welcome to the new series. This new series is going to be going over all the attachments that we have in this game, going from all the way over to sights, all the way over to like your muzzle brakes and your grips that you have and your flashlights and etc., all that other stuff. But for the first part of this series, the attachment series we should say, we're going to go over the sights that we have. As some of you may know, there's about a gajillion sights in this dang game, so it's going to be a little bit difficult kind of going through every single one of them, but I'm going to go in as much depth as I can on every single one that I at least have unlocked, which I think is every one of them. I think I'm going to leave a couple sights out, such as the AUG sight or the iron sights for the AUG that you can buy separately, or maybe I don't think I'm going to go too much in depth on these Mosin sights right here because those are kind of a given. But the one thing that I want to do is to give you guys a huge foundation into what sights you're going to be focusing on buying, or what suits you best. Because the last thing I want you to go do is to spend $100,000 or $50,000 on a bunch of different sights that you don't even enjoy or you don't even like using. So I hope this video finds itself useful to you, and without further ado, let's get into the first sight. Peace, y'all. Alrighty, to get this video started, I think a perfect attachment to start this video off is going to be the Walther reflex sight. As some of you may know, I say this in most of my live streams that I'm in, and I think a couple of videos, but this has to be one of my top sights or optics, you could say, that I've ever used. I say this because I've always used it in my old COD days, and I continue to use it on any game that I possibly can. This is a level 1 attachment from our boy Tommy right here, or ARC you could say. I guess you could say it goes for a staggering $21,000. I think that's one of the cheapest in the whole entire game. Like I said, level 1. Super easy to buy, and you can immediately get it, I think, right off the bat with Tommy. Alrighty, what I really like about this sight, first thing, is it is so easy to see all of your targets. You can choose to either close one eye, I wish you guys could see me right now, but you can either choose to close one eye, which would be like your left eye in my case, or you can have both of your eyes open when you're able to see through this. Another thing that I really like about this sight, coming from one of the first people, is for the exact reasoning that it is so open and so easy to use. You're not having to find, especially if you're new to VR, you're trying to look into these little sights that some of these things have, and it's kind of hard to find the reticle. And I just think that it's super easy to find the reticle in this Walther reflex right here. Now, I don't think there's too much adaptability for the Walther reflex, whether that be like super long range shots or even to those mid-range kind of fights that you'll have in the game. But I definitely think for being one of the cheapest items in there or in the game possible for all your attachments, it's a necessary pickup, especially if you've been using it in the previous, whether that be COD when you were growing up, or whether that be you're trying to get into shooters in general, because you're going to find this all over the place. But yeah, in my book, I would give this a good probably 8 out of 10 for any sights. I'm using it on, still to this day, I'll use it on this AK Alpha, or I'll use it on pretty much any gun that I find. That's also another thing to kind of add, is that you can put it on literally any gun in this game, whether that be like a semi-automatic rifle, or whether that be a little submachine gun or a pistol in some cases. I have a whole video of me doing a Glock run with a reflex sight on that. But yeah, overall, if you aren't using the Walther reflex, please go ahead and do that, because it'll change your life. And yeah, we won't go too in depth in this one. All right, one of the first sights that we're going to look at is this Cobra right here, the 3-sided or the 3-line kind of red one. It is a level 1 right here for $21,780. I think that's the cheapest sight in the whole entire game. You can get it from Regiment or Igor, some people call him. But yeah, let's go check this thing out real quick. Now, the first thing that comes to mind is honestly just the knowledge of this sight, having seen this before in other games, as you've pretty much seen all the other sights in the game in different games as well. But honestly, I kind of have a little bit of an attachment to this sight right here. I don't necessarily hate it, but I think that it is limited, and of course it is a level 1 gun from Igor, or a level 1 sight I should say. It is limited to that close range kind of aspect. I did a couple runs, which I'll add a little bit of gameplay here and there in, of me on Metro running this sight, and also it's just more of a preference sort of thing. If you feel yourself leaning towards the reflex, the old reflex, whether that be in Call of Duty games or whatever that you kind of ran it in the past. But yeah, overall, I really like the price tag on this sight right here. I do kind of like how it looks. I don't necessarily love the dead space in between, but I mean, it's definitely a plus for the sight game. And if you have about $22,000 to spend for this sight right here, I definitely think it's something that you can add into your gameplay. Alright, for the next one of our sights right here, we're going to go into this T1 elevating sight. It's a level 2 attachment for our boy Tommy over here, and it goes for about $25,000. This is one of the main reasons why I made this video right here, because I think this is a weird kind of sight that I've never seen before in Xfil or really in any other game. I don't know if that's just because I've always passed through it when looking through other games, or especially in Xfil zone right here, but this is definitely one of those sites that if you enjoy it, you can definitely use it. Another thing that I want to add in right here, which a lot of people don't know for all these sites right here, is that this is 45-degree rail adapter that I'm going to show you guys real quick that can actually add on another sight for you guys. So let me do that, because I think it works really well with this T1 elevating sight that we're going to go into, and I'd love to kind of demonstrate how it works. So before we go a little bit in depth on this T1 elevating sight that we have, I want to show you guys this 45-degree rail adapter real quick. So once you have it, all you got to do is just place it on your rail. Actually, I'm going to do it on the other side. You can pretty much face it either way, whether it be your left-handed or your right-handed. And then all you have to do is grab your next sight. I'm going to grab this Walther reflex right here, and then you toss it on the side. So now, if you want to be looking through the T1 elevating sight that you have, or a longer range distance sight, you definitely can, or you can switch over to your Walther reflex just by flicking your wrist over. So yeah, whether that be you have a close range sight and then a long range sight, these are almost identical to each other, which is why I wanted to say the T1 elevating sight isn't necessarily anything crazy, but if you want to use it, you can 100% use it. And I also think that this Walther reflex, like I'm showing you guys right here with the 45-degree rail, it's kind of taller, so it won't necessarily mess up your guys' room, and you can actually see through the iron sights underneath it, which I'm just now noticing. But it also means that if you wanted to add a little Toucan sight, which we'll go in a little bit more in depth later, you can add that. But for the price of the T1 elevating sight, I don't think it's actually anything crazy. For about $25,000, it's just $2,000 more than the Walther reflex. And like I said, you can add a Toucan sight on the side, or you can actually add a Toucan sight underneath if you really want to. And you can still see those iron sights underneath. So again, it's a little bit of a weird sight that I don't necessarily hate or love. And me personally, I think it's a little bit funky, but I mean, it's all personal preference. And lastly, let me show you this thing right here. I just kind of noticed this. It's kind of funny that I'm just now noticing it in the video, but you can look through the top of the T1 elevating, and then I put a little Toucan sight underneath there. I don't know why you need two reflex sights or what other sight you can put in there, but that's definitely kind of cool. But overall, I'd rate the T1 elevating probably a 6 out of 10, just because it's a little funky looking, and it is a little bit different, but I mean, I don't really hate it. And a last thing is that it's pretty easy to find the sights in this gun right here. It's not like you're looking through a holographic and it's a little bit hard to find the sights. Once you look through this hole right here, you're gonna basically find the red dot. But yeah, let's go on to the next sight. Alrighty, for the next set of sights that I wanted to go into, I wanted to hit up the PiTech S3 FDEs right here, or you could just call them hollow sights. You can find one of them for Igor at level 2, priced at $23,460. Or you can find a level 2 at Tommy over here, the PiTech S3 BK at $26,000. Alrighty, so now that we're in the shooting range, I wanted to just quickly exclaim, there is basically nothing between these two sights right here. I'm using both of them. The first one, the straight ahead one, is from Igor, and the one on the right is from Tommy. I again am using the 45-degree rail adapter, and I would never recommend using basically the same exact sight for this 45-degree rail adapter. Now the one for Igor is a little bit cheaper, but I mean, other than just like color, maybe it's sticking out in your gun a little bit, I'm not too sure. There's basically no difference. Again, I think this is one of those sights that kind of comes down to more of a preference. If you ran this in more of like the COD games growing up, or in your kind of FPS games, then I definitely think that this is a sight for you, but I don't think there's anything too special about these sights right here. With my little expertise that I have, I would kind of range them in the 7 out of 10 range for my ranking, that is. But like I said, if this is a sight that you loved using and you've always loved using it, then it's definitely all you. Also, another thing that you have to keep in mind is that they are level 2, so you do have to unlock them when you first get into the game, so you won't be able to find them initially when hopping in the Xfil zone. But yeah, overall, not too much to talk about these two sights right here, these two hollow sights I call them, but I definitely think they are reliable, and if you have them around, definitely try them out sometime. Alrighty, let's move on to the next sight. Alrighty, on to the next sight is going to be the Toucan 2 that we have right here, priced at $27,720. This, thankfully, is a level 2 attachment for Tommy. I'm sorry, by the way, that I'm kind of going all over the place between Igor and Tommy. I'm trying to keep it in a specific level. Like, I'm trying not to go all over the place with the levels, but I am kind of going all over the place and kind of what catches my eye first. But we're going over the Toucan 2 real quick. Again, priced at around $27,000, and this is the exact sight that you want to be using for your sidearms. And let me back up super quick. If you want to use a sight on your sidearms right here, or specifically your pistol, you have to get this thing called the Pistol Tactical Rail. If we're looking at this Glock right here, we have the Pistol Tactical Rail that you kind of just toss on. It's super easy to do that. And then you can toss, if I go to level 2 right here, you can then toss the Toucan 2 on top of that, or pretty much any sight. You could be putting a sniper sight in this dang thing, but obviously you shouldn't be doing that. But yeah, I think this is one of my favorite sights, or at least the favorite sight for your pistol right here. So let's go check it out in the shooting range. Alrighty, so now that we're in here with the Pistol Tactical Rail and then the Toucan sight placed on top, this is the exact sight that you want to be using for all of your pistol needs. I don't use a pistol too much unless it's in some of my videos that I've been doing. And honestly, I forgot to use the Toucan sight for my Glock only run on Metro. If I had to redo it, I'd do the Toucan sight all over, as I think it's like the perfect sight. It's super, super small. I wouldn't really recommend putting it on like this AK Alpha that we have right here. And the only issue that I kind of have real quick is that it's a little hard to find the red dot when you're initially pulling up your gun. Other than that, I think this is a super reliable sight. I think it's super cool, and it actually makes sort of like a sleek kind of look to the gun. I would give this a good old-fashioned probably 7 or 8 out of 10. I mean, I love this sight. I think it's absolutely awesome. I think it works really well with all the pistols. But again, you do need the pistol rail adapter. It is a little pricey, a little over $27,000, but I definitely think that it's worth it if you're running just pistols. For those people that are into the budget guides, this is kind of your way to go. But yeah, definitely go try it out if you're going pistols only, or if you don't like the iron sights on most of these guns. And yeah, let's move on to the next sight. Alrighty, for this next sight, we're going to go into the OCP-7, priced at $23,520. I think, me personally, just giving it a bias rating, I'm going to give it a little lower rating just because I haven't had a lot of success with it. But overall, again, if it's personal preference for you, if you really enjoy it, then I think that this is the sight for you. And just a little disclaimer before we go into the shooting range, a little disclaimer for this video is that all of the guns, or all of the sights that I'm going to be going into, are all personal preference. This is totally how I feel about them, and I just want to give everybody a little taste of, I guess, all the optics and all the sights out there and all the attachments in general for the following videos. And if you think that a sight is better than what I'm saying that it is, then you are 100% right, because at the end of the day, it's all personal preference. And I don't like this sight because I haven't had much success with it, but if you have a lot of success with this OCP-7 and you love it, then keep using it. But yeah, let's head down into the shooting range real quick. Alrighty, so going into this OCP-7, the thing that I do like about it is I love the green tint, and I love how it's a different color than all the other sights, kind of just like those red dots that we've been seeing. And I do think that it's pretty easy to kind of find the reticles, as it has very close proximity to that iron sights, if you know what I'm saying. And then the last thing that I do like is it's kind of leaned on the left side, it feels to me, so you can add this 45-degree rail adapter right here and add another sight if you do please. But overall, like I said, I haven't had too much success with this gun because when it gets to longer range, I kind of just don't really get the proximity of that little triangle at the top, and I guess where to aim. See, I can barely kill somebody right now. But overall, I'm going to give it a lower rating just because, again, I don't have too much success with this gun, or this sight. And for about the 50th time saying it, if you really like this sight, then go ahead and use it. Because at the end of the day, it's all what you like, and I just want to give you guys a little bit of a taste and a little bit of a look at all the different sights. And that way you're not wasting $23,000 if you don't even want to try out a new sight. But yeah, let's go into the next sight. Alrighty, so the next sight that we're going to go into is going to be this ACOG. It's a level 2 sight from Tommy, and I think that this is one of the most amazing sights that you have if you're looking to get into those long range, kind of mid to long range sort of fights. I think it's a little overpriced at $40,000, but I definitely think that, again, if you're trying to get into those mid to long range fights, this is the sight for you. Especially if you don't have all those other sights at level 3 and level 4 leveled up. But again, I love how this sight looks, and let's go into the shooting range and check it out. Alrighty, so the first thing that I have to add about this sight, I'm going to give a little bit of a bias kind of thing. I think it's more of like a 7 out of a 10 for the rating. That's just me personally, again. But another thing is I think you have to have a good sidearm with this, or you have to have this 45-degree rail adapter and put like a reflex sight on the side of it. Because as you can see, this guy's about 10 feet away from me, this middle guy right here. And if I zoom up, you can barely see his face in this sight. You can adjust this sight probably to the front. I'm not sure how much that helps. That doesn't literally helps, not at all. But if you have it kind of close to your face, it's a pretty good sight to use. I do like, again, this triangle. It's kind of similar to the OCP-7 that we had, but the only thing is I do think it's a little hard to find these people in these in this sight. So if I'm shooting at one guy over here and I want to zoom over to the other guy, it's going to be kind of hard to find him unless you're kind of looking with both eyes and kind of peeking up and down from this sight right here. But I've used this ACOG a lot. I think it's definitely reliable, and I think it's one of those sights that if you like Tommy as a whole and you like using his guns and you want to use this ACOG and get into more of those mid to long range fights, I think it's definitely the sight for you. But yeah, let's go into a couple more long range sights now. See you up in the market. Alright, so the next sight that we're going to go into, which is a long to mid range, mid to long range sort of sight, is a Scepter DR FDE, which is priced at $50,490. And then its brother, the Scepter DR BK, priced at a little under $50,000. I think both these sights are very similar to the PiTech right here, as they're like almost the exact same thing. But yeah, let's go check them out. Alrighty, so now that we're in the shooting range, we have our sight. This is I think the FDE or something like that, bought from Igor. I'm not even too sure which one it is. We have the other one right here on the ground. And they're literally brothers. They're like the exact same sight, just similar to the PiTechs. These, like I said, are more into your mid to long range sort of fights. I would guess long range. These are kind of the only sights that you want to have when you're having those mid-range fights. Very similar to the ACOG, almost the exact same kind of details that I have on it. The only thing that I like and don't like about these is the thing that I do like is it has kind of the crosshairs. So it's very universal to everybody. Everybody can kind of pick it up. As long as you have the people within the crosshairs, you're going to be able to get them. But the only thing that I don't like is kind of the pricing. They're both around $50,000. And I'm not a huge fan of blowing $50,000 on just the sight, unless I'm going fully kitted, that is. But again, you're going to want to be pairing this with a 45-degree rail adapter, something smaller, because this thing's really for those long-range fights. But this is just me spending $100,000 so that you don't have to if you don't like these. And I don't know if you guys have picked up at all, but I'm more of a fan of those like short to mid-range sort of sights versus the very long range, because if you do get them, then you have to pair them with, let's say you have a Toucan sight, that's 27 grand that you're going to be spending extra. So I don't think they're very adaptable because you cannot use them in, let's say, metro. But overall, if you find yourself in Dam-a-Lot dying to long range guys, or if you find yourself in suburban, like say the farm area or the military area, and you're always getting gunned down from longer ranges, then these are definitely the sights for you. And if you really wanted to, you can actually put them behind each other and be aimed in like a maniac. This is like way too zoomed in for me. But for whatever reason, if you wanted to look at that or kind of pair them up, then you definitely could. But let's go on to the next sights. Alrighty, the next sight that I want to go into is this LOMIO8T. I don't even know how to explain it. I'm going to butcher it. But yeah, this is one of my favorite sights, as this is when I got level 3 for Tommy. This was one of the sights that I really wanted to get and that I was really looking forward to, because I had experienced this when I only had like level 1 or level 2, and this thing treated me so well. It's priced at a little over $30,000 at $32,640, and I think this is a very good mid-range sight. Now, I think this is more of an upgraded of the PiTech that we went over, and I think that this sight absolutely rips. I think it's super, super easy to read, or super legible, you could kind of say. And I kind of like the boxy feature that it has on it, and I think the sight is just big enough to where it's super nice. I think it also feels, since it's so boxy, that it's kind of taking a picture for you, and you're able to see everything super well. I think it's very similar to what we're going to go into with the FPO, and I think it's just a great sight overall. This sight will not only give you the ability to rip at close range, but also when it comes to longer range sort of things, I don't think that the sight gets too much in the way, and I definitely think it's super open, so that you're going to be good pretty much at no matter distance, unless you're fighting very, very far away. But overall, one of my favorite sights. I don't think it's priced too crazy at a little over $30,000, and I definitely think that if you haven't tried it yet, go ahead and do that. Alrighty, we're back up in the market, and we're going to look at 2 more sights before we finally get to the last couple of optics that we have. So the first of these 2 right here that we're going to be talking about is the Savior. The Savior comes in at $28,710, which I think is a steal for this sight. This sight is a level 3 from Igor, and I think it absolutely rips. I've had super good luck with this, and yeah, let's see what we're going to pair it with. I like to personally pair it with this HRMA, which we actually forgot to go over earlier in this video, which comes out at a price of $43,650. I think you guys know, since we're in the realm of the longer range sights, that this gun is definitely focused on the longer range of things, whereas the Savior is definitely more of a close to mid-range. But yeah, let's go check them out in the shooting range. Now that we're in the shooting range, I don't know if you guys checked out my leveling up video. If you haven't, please go do that. But I actually use this Savior sight in it, which is the one on the 45-degree angle, and I absolutely ripped, and I got so lucky with it. I think this sight, again, is super legible, kind of similar to the LOM, whatever that sight was. And I also think that it's kind of easy, or actually super easy, to find this reticle inside. The only thing that I don't like about this is it takes up a little bit of room, and it's kind of hard to put when we talk about the Levo later on. But overall, I think it's a pretty good sight. I think it's actually pretty good for your mid to long range sort of fights, as it kind of hones in your sight again, like that LO, whatever gun that was, or sight. But again, like I said, I like to pair this HRMA or a longer range sight with a shorter range sight. I would give the Savior in my book like an 8 out of 10 or a 9 out of 10. I think that's actually insane for some reason. And I love the price on it as well, coming in at around $28,000. The HRMA, I do like the pricing on it at $43,000. It's not as much as the Scepter DRs that we had. And I also think that it's pretty easy with this reticle right here. I don't love the lines on it, but they don't bother me too much. And then if you're having trouble and somebody's, getting too close or whatnot, if they're really close like this, you can just switch over to the Savior. But overall, especially this combo, I really, really like it. I enjoy it. I run it a lot. And I think it's good for anybody to try. The only last thing that I'd say is kind of spraying with this HRMA is a little bit difficult, as any long-range sight is, honestly. But overall, good setup. Let's go on to the last couple of sights. I'll see you guys up in the market. Alright, for these two sites that we're going to go into the FPO, which is a level 3 item from Igor, and then we're going to go into the Levo, which is a level 4 site, again from Igor. Now, a lot of you might have the ability to get this FPO without the ability to get the Levo. They aren't necessarily, you don't necessarily have to have both of them together, but this is the exact combo that I run almost every single raid. The FPO goes for about $30,000, which I think is an amazing price point for this sight right here. I think it's honestly just an upgraded reflex of the T1 elevating sight or all of those, and I really just like the red dot, which is exactly what it has. And then with the Levo, I think it's the coolest sight in the game. I think it's honestly one of the best things that they have, or one of the best things that they have added in this game. But before I go, like I said, this is a level 4. It's kind of hard to unlock, but it is a legendary sight right here. It goes for about $68,000 or $69,000, so it is a little bit pricey and on the higher end. But if you're going fully kitted, I definitely think that you should be bringing this. Now, if you're one of those people like me that kind of have some trouble finding which site to use, I definitely think this kind of fixes all of your problems. Going into a little bit of the FPO that we have right here, or I might not even sure, it might be the FPD. I'm not really sure. I might be a little losing my mind. Yeah, it's definitely the FPO. But the FPO, I think it's super easy to find, I think it's super reliable, and I'm willing to spend the extra $7,000 to get it, when compared to the Walther reflex, of course. Now, the only thing is that the FPO doesn't have a ton of range on it, and that's where the Levo comes in. With just a slight movement of the hand, you're now able to move all the way down right here to the Levo. This thing has a little camera on the side of it, or a little, I guess you could say, extended sight. So you're looking through the left side of this portion right here, but it's actually, you're seeing through the right side. That means you can add anything in front of this sight. So if you didn't want to deal with having to bring a whole hollow sight into a match, or just being scared about bringing in an FPO or a reflex sight, you can simply just add it right in front of it. Both of these sights together, a mixture of these two sights right here are honestly something other than like the Levo. Let's say a Levo and a reflex sight in front of it has been super trustworthy for me, but I absolutely love this Levo sight and what it kind of has to offer in the game. But yeah, I'd give this Levo and the FPO together probably like a 9 out of 10 in my book. And if you haven't run those two together, please do. You'll absolutely love it. Thank me later. Alrighty, now that we're back up in the market, I want to give a little disclaimer on the rest of this video right here. I am not totally sure if I went through every single site that I have, as I do have level 4 Igor and Tommy, but if I forgot a site, please don't grill me for it. I'm trying my best. This took me about 2 days to record, and I went through every site that I think I have. So if I forgot one or two here and there, I'm so sorry about that. Let me know in the comments, but yeah, this is pretty much all I have. And we're going on to the last two, but first we're going to go to the Beta 4 right here. We'll go to the VerTac next, but the Beta 4 right here, it's a legendary level 4 from Tommy, coming in at $63,360, and I have yet to use this sight right here. I think it's pretty cool, but again, I have yet to use it, and let's go in the shooting range and check it out together. So now that we're here in the shooting range, the one thing that makes this sight really, really cool in my eyes is the ability that you have a top rail on it, so you can put another sight on top. I tried putting the reflex sight on there because it's, you know, it's really cheap and it's kind of the most basic that I could find, but I think the Toucan honestly works really well with this. This sight, the Beta 4, is very, very similar to the HRMA. The only other thing, like I just said, is that you have the ability to toss a sight on top of that, so if you just move your right hand, I'm not moving my left hand at all, if you move your right hand, the reticle will come right in front of your face. So obviously you have your longer range sight, and then if you move it down, you got your short range sight. Overall, I don't hate the pricing on this at $63,000, but it's not my favorite. Like I said earlier, I'm more into like the mid to short range kind of sights. And this Beta 4 definitely is kind of pushing that mid range, but I don't know for $63,000. That's just me though, seriously, that is purely just me. I would still give this sight, in my eyes, I would give it probably an 8 out of 10. And $63,000, I mean, I think it's $20,000 more than the HRMA, but you're also getting another little sight on top of it. And even though that you could just add a 45-degree angle on the side, I think just being able to put your right hand down and easily pop in there is honestly super, super cool. But yeah, the Beta 4, definitely a plus. Again, it's a level 4, it's a legendary sight from Tommy, so I don't know how long it's going to take for people to get that, but it definitely took me a long time. But overall, good sight. Try it out when you guys get it. I think it's worth it. But I'll see you guys up in the hideout for the last sight. Alrighty. Whew. For the last sight that we have right here, the VerTac X. This thing is so expensive. It's honestly insane, and I've never used it again. It's coming in at $110,000, and I think that is absolutely nuts. For this to be more expensive than almost all the guns in here is just absolutely insane to me. There is a super cool feature on this site that I don't think a lot of people know, but it's definitely worth making a video over, I'll tell you that. And a little disclaimer before we head down to the shooting range, I appreciate anybody who's made it to this point. You guys are absolutely insane. If you have benefited at all in this video, or if you like the video at all, please hit that thumbs up and hit that subscribe button. If you guys want to leave a comment on which sight or optic is your favorite sight, please do. I'm always responding to every single comment that I get, and I absolutely appreciate when you guys interact with the videos. I absolutely love you guys, and I appreciate it if you made it all the way here. And yeah, let's go down to the shooting range to check out this VerTac X. So looking at this thing looks extremely beefy. Honestly, this setup right here is honestly pretty cool, I'm not gonna lie. But for this sight to be more than this AK Alpha that we have right here is just nuts to me. But it might look like any other kind of zoomed in sniper scope. But if you look right here, you have this little lever right here that you can use the trigger button on, and you can zoom it in as much as you want or as little as you want. So if I move it all the way to the left, it's basically as if I'm just looking through a mirror. So I can honestly keep both of my eyes open right here, and it's this almost the same exact zoom, which I think is absolutely insane. I love that. So when I'm talking about how I like really close range guns or whatnot, you can use this thing close range. You don't even need another sight for this. But also if you're looking and you're more of a mid-range sort of person, you can also, you know, put it halfway, give or take. And then all the way, if you want to be sniping, if you have like a sniper or something like that, you can zoom it in all the way. Overall, I think this is probably the coolest sight in the book, but also, again, the most expensive. Honestly, as far as sights, I would give this thing a 10 out of 10, but because of the price being $110,000 and not everyone having the ability to get this because it is level 4, it probably bumps it down to probably like an 8 out of 10, 9 out of 10. If you're one of those people that really likes to just run and gun and whatnot, I don't think this is really your sight. But if you like to take your time and you like to think about battles before you go into them like I do myself, this is definitely the sight for you. I wouldn't take this into a metro or anything like that because you're going to get a grenade throw at you and die anyways. But if you're in suburb or you're in dam, this is the sight for you, 100%. If you have that bankroll, of course. I don't even think I have it. But just for reference right here, I grabbed a sniper scope. This is the difference in size between them. We're not going to go into the sniper scope, but I think it's definitely useful, obviously, when you're sniping. But if these were very similar in price, I would 100% be buying this every single day of the week. And honestly, I might start adding it on my sniper scopes very, very soon. But overall, probably my most favorite and honestly the coolest to me, but also the most expensive. But yeah, I hope you guys like this last one right here. So I think it's definitely a good one to end on, and I'll see you guys in the lobby. Alrighty, I think we're finished. I appreciate everybody for getting to this point. If you have, as it took me a pretty long time to record all of these sites, and it actually took me a lot of money. So for all the blood, sweat, and tears that I put into this dang thing, I really hope that you guys like the video. I hope that you leave a thumbs up on this and hit that subscription and maybe that bell button while you're at it. It's completely free and I truly, truly appreciate it. Also, if you guys want to join the Discord that's in my bio, again, it's completely free. It's a super cool community and we'd absolutely love to have you there. As I said in my previous videos, I love doing these informational videos for you guys, as it kind of keeps me on my toes and allows me to learn while I'm at it. You guys are absolutely the best. I truly appreciate everybody for tuning into this video, anybody who's tuned into my live streams and joined the Discord, and overall just giving me support. You guys are literally the best, and I absolutely love you guys. But yeah, I'm not sure if I forgot any sights or any optics. I did leave a couple out, such as the Mosin sights or the ACOG sights and whatnot, but I'm pretty sure I got every single one of them. And don't forget to tune into the next videos because we're going to go over some more things, such as our grips that we have, our regular, like our lasers right here. We're going to go over some of our muzzle brakes that we have, and much more. But if you guys leave a comment down in the comment box on what you'd like to see next, whether that be lasers or grips or muzzle brakes or silencers or anything, then I'd be glad to start making a video on that for you guys. But again, like I said, I truly appreciate you guys being here. I love you to death. You guys are the best. And I'll catch you guys in the next video. See you guys later. Peace.